Hey, I'm Jed Dorsey. This is my studio. We're going to go inside and see what happens today in this studio session live. Yeah, woo! That was fun. Peter is with me. Peter, come on board, man. Come on board here.
What's up?
Man.
I wasn't expecting such funky music.
I know.
Normally it's
like,
acoustic and,
I know, man. But I was like, this is fun. It was just like, this is the second choice on my little list there. And I'm like, I like it. Let's do this one.
There you go.
Yeah. Margie, all right. Margie's here. Cool. Margie, we didn't announce this. We just thought of this yesterday, and we didn't say to anybody. Like, we told nobody we were doing this. This is just kind of like spur of the moment. We're having fun here. But, Peter, do you want to explain a little bit about it, or do you want me to?
You go for it. I think you have a better idea than I do. Well, we got a few things going on, actually. Yeah.
We've got a number of things happening. One of the things, I'm going to do a little painting, and I'm actually going to show you, Peter, if you want to make this full screen for a second. This is what I'm going to paint from later, just in a little bit. But if you want to either take a screenshot of this or come back to this portion of the video later, you can definitely see this. But also Peter put it as a link in the chat, so you can grab the reference photo if you want.
Sure did.
Later. So anyways, but yeah, I'm gonna do a small little painting based on that, and that'll be fun.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to do is, I made a big mistake and I left this brush. I came into my studio yesterday and I found this brush, and I was so sad because I had touched something up on a painting the other day and I had forgotten to wash my brush. I felt embarrassed and I was like, oh man. So what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to show you this little trick that we learned from Diana Shine, the amazing, incredible Diana Shine. And so hopefully that will be something. I've never done it before. She just has told me that it works. So I'm hoping it does. And the other thing that I want to do, and I'll do it right now, is I'm going to just share a few paintings that have sold recently in my little I have a little Christmas show going on, so I thought I'd just show these because it's kind of fun to. So this was painting number one. So what I do is I put one painting out there every day, and I just do it one at a time. It's kind of like the way I've done it for a few years. It's kind of fun. So this was painting number two. And then painting number three, let's see if this one fits. Oh man, I'm not going to adjust my camera, but you can see generally that was painting number three. And then painting number four will be kind of similar to that. So it's kind of a bigger painting, but I will show you where I'm, what's kind of fun. It's kind of a fun show that I always like doing it. But yeah, if you go to my website here, you can see I call it 12 Days of Christmas. 50% of the proceeds go to this charity, which I'll show you also here, which is really cool. It's a Family for Every Orphan. They work with just helping kids get into families all around the world. And actually they were, I think they might have had to move their headquarters, but they were based in Ukraine. And so anyways, cool stuff. This is just something I'll show you right now too. If you want to do this, man, this is pretty awesome. All you have to do is type in paintacrossamerica.com and it will take you to that landing page. I'm like super excited about it. Oh, whoops, took you to the wrong one. It will eventually take you to this page. I just changed it. I have that domain forwarding. Anyways, information that you don't really care about, but okay, Peter, should I do this sanitizer thingy here?
Yeah, go for it real quick. I just want to, we have a few comments so far. Margie May from Bush Creek, Tennessee, Louise Long from Oakville, Ontario, and Cheryl Carl from sunny Arizona. A big surprise to find you here today. Yeah, this is very last minute, but you know, we just been thinking about like we need to go back to our roots a little bit, you know, do some more live streams here on YouTube. So you can expect a lot more of these in the near future. So
they're fun. We love doing them.
Super casual.
Yeah, and this is just a way to get together, share a few things. I can't guarantee that you will learn anything. But maybe you will. Maybe you'll see something. I know that I'm gonna see if I can try this out and see if this works to do this demonstration. So here it is. Basically, the idea is that if you have dried paint, acrylic paint, that one good solution is to use hand sanitizer, and it should loosen up the dried paint. So what she said to do was to take some hand sanitizer, put it into the palm of your hand, and just start working that dried paintbrush into the hand sanitizer. And what is going on is that hand sanitizer has alcohol in it, and it is, you can see it's starting to turn the hand sanitizer a little bit of a milky color. So I'm hoping that means that it's starting to work. It's starting to soften the dried paint, because this is definitely completely dry. Like, it's not, there's no part of that paint that is wet anymore or soft. It's just, and you can see more and more that is really turning milky color now. So what I think I'm going to do is just keep working it, but at some point I'm going to need to get some more hand sanitizer because it's kind of being absorbed into the brush, and I think so she said just keep working it. Keep working it. And you can see it's actually starting to come off. Some of the chunky dried areas are starting to loosen up and come off. This is funny. It's going to drip down onto my panel there. But okay, I'm going to grab a paper towel so I can kind of clean off my hand and maybe remove some of the stuff that's dried off a little bit or loosened up a little bit, and then I'll do another round of that. See, can just keep doing it, I guess. We'll just see what happens here. But it seems like it's working. So just keep on mixing it. Keep on mixing it. And look at that. Isn't that amazing? I mean, we can see it working right in front of our eyes. Like, oh my goodness, man, my brush is almost totally clean. This is amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is really cool. Okay, so I'm going to wipe my hand off again and wipe off the brush one more time and just look at it. Okay, like that thing was so crusted, and now it's almost totally gone. There's just a little tiny bit of dried paint in there still. So I'm going to just do that one more time. I mean, wow, this is amazing. Honestly, I would have, years ago, before I met Diana and knew how to do that, I probably would have thought I had to just throw this paintbrush away, which would have been really sad. Okay, one more round of that. Let's see if we can get it back to its original. And look at it now. There's less paint coming off. It's not turning quite as milky as it was before because there's so much less paint in the brush, which proves that it's working exactly the way that she said.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That is so incredible, man. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so let's get another paper towel. And I'll dry off my hand here, and we'll dry off the brush. And look at this. Whoa. Look at that, guys. That brush, I mean, it feels so good. Like, I can't even tell that there is anything in there. That is awesome. So now I'm just going to rinse it out with some water.
Heck yeah.
And look at that, man. My brush is back. Whoa. That is awesome. What a celebration we should be having. I'm going to have to tell Diana and thank her for that because woo,
yeah, for sure.
That just saved me a brush. Man, I'm starting to wonder. I have this brush here and it's fine. It's totally fine, but it does have a little bit of dried paint on it here.
Yeah, like stained or something.
Yeah, kind of stained on there. I'm going to just do this one more time now that I know that this is an option. Let's see if we can see if it'll even just clean the stain of a paintbrush.
Carlos says, wow, I'm impressed. I definitely have a brush or two or maybe more that I would try that with. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Now I don't see, there's hardly any there. I mean, this is a clean brush. It isn't turning the sanitizer any real strong color because there's not really any pigment in the brush, but I'm just trying to see if it will potentially maybe clean off these stains. I guess it probably, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's just stain. It definitely doesn't matter for the way that the paintbrush works. But look, it is actually cleaning off some of it.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it is.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Kind of taking it off.
Look at that.
Yeah. It's quite amazing, man. I did not know. Yeah.
It was pretty
I mean,
good.
this side, it's almost completely gone. And this side just has a little bit that I can still see.
That's powerful stuff.
That is so cool, isn't it? Wow. Okay. Well, there you go.
Very cool.
So we can look at our two brushes now. The one is a lot newer. That's why I was so sad about that one. I don't even think I'd really use that before I dipped it in white paint and then forgot about it. But this one I've used quite a bit. So it obviously does have a little bit of coloring, a little bit of staining, but you can see that there used to be those lines in it, and those are pretty much gone now. So, man, okay, guys, the lesson is don't give up on your paintbrushes. Just grab some hand sanitizer and let that do the trick of reinvigorating your paintbrush. Okay, cool. So are we ready? Are we ready to do this? We ready for
I think so.
Okay, Peter, the only other thing that I was thinking we could do, so I wanted to show this one more time. This is the painting that I'm going to be, or the reference that I'm going to be working from. But the thing that we could do is invite everybody to Friday, because this Friday we have something, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We have a special guest, Amy Erickson. She's going to be talking about her process and her course that she did with us last year. So that'll be awesome.
That will be awesome.
Yeah, this Friday at 5 p.m., I believe, or is it 4?
5.
Yeah.
5 o'clock. Yeah. Okay, so what I think I could try to do here is I could try to download that image for my and put it on the screen, because I don't have it on the screen right now. So why don't I do that? Okay, let's see if I can do this.
Is it the right one? Oh, no.
No, it's not the right one. But I'm just thinking about, okay, so I'll put it here, and how is this going to work? I don't know if this is going to work. You know what?
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm just going to have to do it this way. And you're going to have to refer back to it.
Don't sweat about it.
So, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to use my freshly cleaned brush. I'm going to be so excited about that. But before I get into the big part of the painting, I need to draw this on here. And it is kind of, I'm taking a very long and horizontal picture, and I'm trying to fit it onto here. So I have to be thoughtful about how I design the painting. And I'm using an acrylic marker just for fun. These are incredibly helpful. And what I'm thinking about here is, how do I create, a scene that has some movement, and that is kind of compelling, right? So I don't want to have all these trees the exact same. I want to be able to see through parts of some of them, and I want to group them differently. There's a lot of design things that don't happen by accident. And I'm constantly doing things by habit, and I have to often remember and go back and say, wait, what's the reason for this? So if you are watching these little marks that I'm making, it's not that they're all really fascinating or interesting or perfect. I might have to change a lot, who knows. Like I won't really see. But the thing that I'm trying to do in the back of my mind is I'm trying to make them varied and make them kind of just the boring word of interesting. But that's what I'm really working on, is how can I make them not just the same all the way from one end to the other.
Are you, from the reference photo, are you trying to paint a cropped section of it, or are you trying to squish it and
what I'm trying to
a little bit?
It's a great question. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take the essence of it, because there's a mountain back in the back, and there's this hill in front, and trees and rocks and different stuff that comes down. So basically, in my mind, what I'm trying to do is go like, okay, what is the essence of it? And I'm kind of trying to take that. I'm not necessarily grabbing just one section, because even if I grab one section, it's not gonna work exactly, because that mountain is too big. The mountain itself stretches all the way. It would be like all the way across, because it won't even fit into a square format. So I'm kind of taking making some parts of the scene smaller so that it will fit better for the design. And then other parts I'm just leaving out. And, you know, I don't know. It's more just the essence of what do I see that I'm trying to grab. There's a background
Gotcha.
hill. There's actually a couple background hills that are back here.
Brian did a lot of that in his challenge too. He honestly, like, he has reference photos obviously, but in some of them he completely changes the composition. He's said the same thing, you know, he's just trying to capture the essence.
Yeah. I always feel like, well, I mean, that's a lot of what I try to do in my painting generally, because I feel kind of like a lot of times the scene is really beautiful when you're looking at it, but it doesn't always translate to a great painting. And so
Yeah,
I'd rather paint something that I can think is, now there's a couple big trees here that I kind of like, just because they break this up, and the way that I put it, I feel like there's a little lack over on this side, meaning the way that I put the mountain and everything's over here, and I think it will help to have something on this side that will kind of offset all that other stuff.
oh yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'd rather have I think everybody who paints would say the same thing. You'd rather have a good painting than an accurate, necessarily like an accurate painting, right? I mean, it's kind of like the portrait painters, right? The portrait painters who used to, they'd get hired for something, and like they'd paint the person as they were, and the person would be like, that's not what I look like. And they'd have to go back and like make them look better than they really looked.
Yeah. Maybe take a minute to honor all the portrait artists that had to paint for a king.
Oh my goodness.
Or some other powerful figure.
Yeah. That would not be easy, would it, man?
No,
like
that would be horrifying, because
oh,
kings were vain. The vainest you could get.
And you kind of like wonder, I don't know any of the actual history on some of this stuff, but I wonder if there ever was somebody who lost their life or something like that because
I'm sure
they didn't do a portrait that looked good or good enough or something like that.
I was reading what was it? Oh yeah, Robert Greene, 48 Laws of Power. I was reading that, and he they told a story in one of the laws of some guy. I don't remember any of their names, but he basically threw this huge elaborate banquet after he got promoted in honor of the king. But the way that he went about hosting the banquet somehow drew more attention to himself than the king.
Oh,
and then the king had him beheaded the next day.
Oh no. Oh man, yeah. Lessons in throwing a banquet for the king, man. Yeah. It's like, and then the king's like, who wants to throw my next banquet? No one. No thanks.
Oh, I know.
I don't. Oh man. So there's a couple flaws that I see in my design, and this is kind of like what I was saying earlier, is like a lot of times I will do something and then I look at it later and I kind of have to think, this is all the same. Like, so this land down here is about the same as this section of mountain and tree, and then almost the same as this section of sky. And it doesn't mean that it will be a bad painting, but what I need to do is figure out, will it be dynamic if I keep, how am I going to have to make the lighting? One of these sections, it would be nice if one of the sections was smaller, or at least in my reference, or like how I put the values in, like one of the sections should be more dominant. Like the darks should be dominant, the lights should be dominant, or the midtone should be dominant, but they shouldn't all be the exact same. So I need to kind of think what values am I going to put in here, and then like how am I going to make it more interesting. And one thing I'm thinking about right here is I have this little tree back there, but I actually kind of wonder if it would be more interesting if there was a little bit more of a gap here. So sometimes I'll take another color and I'll do an edit to my drawing so that I can see it. Let's see, that's too close to the other color, but I'll grab this blue and it will work. Okay. So let's see like what would happen if I made that come all the way down and didn't really go back up. So I think I'll go with something like that. I think that would be a little bit more interesting, more compelling. And I don't think I need to redo the whole drawing there because I should be able to see that. But now it kind of breaks it up a little bit. So I'm gonna break out my brush now and start putting in some of my darks in that tree line area because they're dark, but I also want them to have a bit of color. So I'm mixing in some burnt sienna with some violet, some dioxazine violet. And that's just making a dark that has warmth, has some brown in it.
This is kind of random, but recently I saw in the Facebook group somebody saying how they had an epiphany on Diana's painting style, and they said that Diana oftentimes she won't, at least this is their observation, I don't know if it was true or not, but it makes sense to me that when she mixes colors, she won't mix them all the way. So,
she leaves. Yep, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so when it goes on the canvas, it's kind of streaky, I guess, in certain places, and it gives it a really like strong painterly look.
Yeah.
I never noticed that before, but I thought it was a good observation.
That is a good observation, and it's definitely something that a lot of times it just like sometimes that might happen on accident if you're like sometimes it happens for me if I'm painting really fast and I just I'm like don't mix it all the way, but generally that's the kind of thing that you do have to think about, right? Because if I just mix this all the way, it's going to be a really smooth color, right?
Yeah.
But if I am thinking I want that more textured, because it's a little bit of a textured look, it's it definitely adds something interesting. And that's an interesting observation. That's why I think it's so cool to watch people and to like see, okay, that's how they're doing that. Observation about method, but also just like looking at the painting in the end and going, it looks different than mine.
Yeah,
Why?
Absolutely. I'm gonna post a link to our story.
I'm grabbing what story? What are you talking about?
Our Instagram story.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that what that was from? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, got you. Okay, cool.
Oh, are you talking about the observation?
Yeah.
No, I just thought might as well share it to our story. Maybe we'll get a couple more people in here.
Nice. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Share a link to the live stream. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah. So what I like doing in this kind of thing is I just am mixing all sorts of various colors, right? I mean, to me, they're all going to kind of work. So if I grab a little bit of gray in, if I put a little bit of more white with the purple, it'll, it's all just going to kind of turn it a little bit different. And this all looks really dark on the video. So I know that you can't really see much, and it probably doesn't look that amazing. And it's not because it's mostly just setting the stage for what will happen later. But guaranteed, all this kind of stuff is going to be more interesting in the long run than if it was just all the same kind of color. And so, if you've got a section of a painting that, like, I'm looking at the reference photo and I'm thinking, like, it's all kind of the same. It all kind of looks the same. It's just dark with a few little outlines of where the trees go, where some of the individual trees are getting touched with a little bit of sunlight. And so I'm kind of using that as my basis, but I'm trying to think, how can we come and make some variation in the overall scene and the overall way that the paint, the trees are going to read. I'm coming in with these biggest foreground trees now. And I'm going to grab a little bit of red in there and see about adding some of that into the tree trunk just for fun.
Diane C., fun surprise to see you painting live. Jed, thanks, Peter. Yes, you're welcome, guys.
Very fun. We're just hanging out.
Yeah, these are fun for us.
It was Thanksgiving last week. I wonder what people did for Thanksgiving. Let us know.
Yeah, seriously.
Type it in the chat.
Please do. One of my highlights for Thanksgiving was so normally one of my favorite Thanksgiving traditions has been with my cousins and my brother and my dad. We'll play some stupid long board game like Risk or
really?
Something like that. And I love playing board games on Thanksgiving. That's like one of my favorite parts. But since I got married and I've been with Jonelle and stuff like that, her side of the family doesn't like those kind of board games at all. So it's been a while since we've been able to like sit down and do that. But in the morning, we me and Andrew and my dad and my mom, we all sat down and we played Settlers of Catan, and it was so much fun.
Cool, man.
Yeah. It's one of my highlights.
That's awesome. Do you like that? Is that one of your family games like that you love?
Yeah.
It's a fun one. I like that one.
Yeah, me too. It's really fun.
I just noticed that they have a card game.
Oh yeah.
Settlers of Catan.
They have so many things.
Like a two-player card game, I thought I saw at the store recently.
That's cool. Moses says, I went to the community dinner and took a walk. Very cool.
Oh, nice.
Diane C says, grandkid time, playgrounds, and swimming. Swimming?
Hey, there you go. I like it.
Are you the one coming in from Arizona?
Well, I'm guessing that's an indoor pool. I mean, either it's like somewhere like tropical or desert or an indoor pool.
Right.
Although I was talking to somebody, who was it? Oh my goodness. Somebody told me that they jumped in the water at their lake last weekend. Yeah, it was our friends who live in Lake Country, BC. And she said that she had jumped in the lake with her son.
Dang.
Like, yeah. And
Dude.
I was thinking, oh, that's awesome.
That is awesome. That reminds me, okay, when we went over to Eastern Washington in November for my grandfather's memorial service, my uncle at the end, uncle on my
I'm just waiting to hear what happens.
I know. So we had the memorial service, and then we went and we did a gravesite service, and that was awesome. And then after the gravesite service, we're kind of all standing around talking, and he goes, "Yeah, our Airbnb is on the lake, and we're gonna go jump in." We are all freezing to death at the graveside service. Like, wind is blowing. It's like 28 degrees. And anyway, so apparently, he's always been like, I don't know, I respect that guy so much. He's like really hardcore, likes to spend a lot of time outside. And I want to do that someday. Like, I really do. It freaks me out, but I think what I've heard people
jump
say is
in
like,
water, like
jump in cold water. Yeah. Because it's like, I feel like it takes a lot of, I don't know, discipline, or like, because you have to jump in and then not react, right? Like,
oh my god,
you have to stay controlled and
not jump out right away is what you mean.
Yeah. But I've heard people say,
did you watch them? Did you watch them do it?
No, I didn't. But I've heard people say, like, if you can jump in cold water like that, it gives you a lot of confidence in yourself, because it's very like primal, like, I'm going to die, kind of like.
Bro,
anyway.
Well, can you want to hear something interesting? Well, when we were at that conference in March, the Create conference, and I don't know if you remember, but Ken was talking about, ice baths, of course. And he just mentioned offhand, like, that his buddy, Gary Brecka, who's, he's a nutritionist kind of guy. He goes, I just do a cold shower because Gary, said something about a cold shower. Like, that basically it sounded like he was saying like that was just as good.
Right.
So I don't know if you remember, but I went back like the next morning and I was like, dude, I'm taking a cold shower. I don't even know if I told you until afterwards, but I just it's like, well, I'm going to do it. And I did. And I've still been doing it, man. Like, I do it.
Oh, nice.
Pretty much. I'd say I've done it 90% of or 95% of the showers ever since March that I'll like either start the shower with just completely cold water, or I'll start and end the shower with cold water, or I will just end it with cold water. But just kind of depends. But dude, there is something psychological about it for sure. Because it's like, dude, there's never been a time that I'm like, yay, I want to do this. It's always willpower and saying, okay, like, you're doing this, like, whatever. And so there is that sense of kind of like, it's weird how you could feel proud of yourself for something like that. And I've never really thought that that's the case, until you said it. But I do think that I feel proud of myself for doing it, because I know that I didn't want to do it and I did it anyways. Right.
For sure. Yeah.
But the other thing that I heard about, and I actually heard this from Scott, Scott, because he mentioned it to me and I was like, yeah, I know, I already do that, man. But he was saying that, and this is obviously only for guys, but well, at least I don't know how this works exactly, but I'm just saying that, like, for me, it's kind of like, oh, that's interesting. But he said that if you can, well, he seems to know, like, from a study or something, that, like, if you do something like that, either a ice bath, cold shower, or jump in a lake when it's freezing, it raises your testosterone for like 8 hours or something like that. So
that doesn't surprise me one bit, not one bit.
Yeah, and the reason that the people, I've never heard the testosterone thing, but like what they would say is like it puts you in a fight or flight mode, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So your senses get alert. You like all like, and I honestly I notice a difference. Like, I mean, it's not like every day that I do it is, way better than any other day or anything
It's
like
not like
that.
a silver bullet. You're like, oh, I did a cold shower. Life is perfect, and I'm.
No, exactly. It's not like that at all. But I do think sometimes it's like anytime I do something hard, I definitely feel like it helps me. Like, or just something like that whole idea, like, what do you do the first thing in the morning? Like, just make your bed. Just like make your bed and then do the next right thing and then do the next right thing. It's interesting, but over time, your life is just a collection of your habits and what you do, right?
Exactly.
And
it's dude, whatever you do in the little moments is what defines you as a person, basically. I've thought about that a lot recently, actually, like especially trying to, obviously grow and learn new things and all that stuff. But like, when you like, quote unquote, make it as like an artist or in any field or whatever, you have all these people that look up to you and they see the work you're doing. They're like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. And from the outside, it looks so sexy. But for the artist, it's a bunch of very, very unsexy moments where you don't have to do a dang thing. Nobody's forcing you to do this or do that. But it's just you alone, these quiet moments, suffering with paint and wrestling with paint. Like, it's so not it in the moment, obviously, like, you enjoy painting and stuff like that, but it's not like it's made out to be from the outsider in the movies where it's like dramatic music is playing and I'm in my studio and I'm channeling my creative forces,
Oh, bro, it's like the intro video I made, man. It's like the funky music. It's just always fun. It's always great. No, that's the whole thing, is like, you're totally right. I mean, I think that's a really interesting observation or, truth, is just like nobody who, I don't know if there's such a thing as an overnight success. Nobody that I've ever talked to who has reached some level of success or, quote unquote success. Cause dude, what is success, man? Like, I honestly think the best definition of success that I've ever heard was, I heard it from a pastor, but he said success is obedience to God in the moment that you're in, which I think is like the coolest, best definition I've ever heard. But for the sake of what we're talking about, is like, if you are trying to accomplish something or make a difference or, do something, kind of significant, or like just like reach a new level, dang, like, nobody just gets there. Like, it's like, it's the hours and the time and the effort but then it's like, it's just that nobody noticed that you until a certain point. So like, for instance, I could like come across somebody and be like, oh my gosh, like, where did they come from? I've never seen them.
Yeah.
To me, it feels like it was an overnight thing, but for that person, man, they put labor in and time and effort, and they're like you said, they've suffered many lonely hours, doing whatever it was without any critical acclaim. I think it's helpful to remember that, because I mean, I'm sure that there are people, like, I don't look at anything that I do as special or anything like that, But from the outside, I know that there are probably people that think that, because I mean, I've had the
Right.
funniest conversations with people, right? When they're like, I meet them and they're like, oh my goodness, like, I can't believe that I'm meeting you or something. I'm like,
Right.
the weirdest time was way back before we even did Acrylic University. And I was just an artist in Indianapolis. And we had there was a fellow like this lady and her husband that we had over. and she was an artist, and I was just like, this is cool. And they came over and they're like, I can't believe that we're in your house. Like, it was just so funny. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, we're hanging out with Jed Dorsey. And I'm going, dude, I am just like, I'm just artist, I'm an artist. I'm just like, yeah, this is normal. Like, there's nothing special about this. I mean, but it's just perception, man. It's like,
oh yeah,
I don't know. It is funny though.
For sure. I think that's so much why you just have to love the process. Like, you know, because and that's what I see so consistently with people who I think are good at what they do, is they just love doing it. And they're like, yeah, you know, I guess people think what I'm doing is cool, but I just like doing it.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you know how it like there's that thought that says, love what, or do what you love and you'll never work another day in your life, right? Like,
yeah.
And it's like, that's not true at all. That's such a dumb little saying. But there is this other sense in which you go like, but there is kind of a truth to it. Like, but I think it's almost like it's the opposite. It's not do what you love and you'll never work another day in your life. I think it's more like love what you do and you'll never work another day in your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
so
do everything with love, and you know, like, it's still not true. It's still not totally true, but like your attitude changes. It's like Mike Tyson, you know, I'm sure you've probably heard him say, like, do what you hate as if you loved it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause he'd do like 1,000 sit-ups every day or something like that. Like crazy, insane amounts of that. And it's like, well, how do you do it? Well, you have to like change your mindset and say like, I love this and I'm going to do it like I love it, even though like everything inside of you is saying I hate it.
Exactly. Somebody responded to your question about Thanksgiving. I painted on a portrait in the early morning before going to a Thanksgiving dinner hosted by a close relative living in the same town. But the previous Sunday, I hosted Thanksgiving dinner for 14.
Whoa. That's so awesome.
We salute you. That's a lot of work.
Yes.
Especially if you did all the cooking. Holy cow.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we totally salute you and say good job. That's cool. I'm moving to the background here. I'm trying to mix up a color for these hills that are right back there and see what it looks like. I love, see Peter, like I'd say, don't you think it's like for me, this is super fun. Like hanging out with you, doing a live stream again. Like we did it for a long time and had a lot of fun with it, but it's fallen by the wayside a little bit. We haven't really done it.
Yeah.
Like this is super fun. I'm like totally enjoying this. But
Agreed.
man, like we work together, right? Like we do a lot of stuff, and a lot of times it's not fun. You know what I mean? Like, like it's not that I'm not saying working with you isn't fun. I'm saying like we have to do so many different things, right? It's not like it's all
no
your favorite thing that you get to do every day. And so this is like the icing on the cake, right? This is like, oh, cool. Like we get to do that part of it again. But then like later there might be, you know, more mundane things that we have to do.
Yeah.
You know, like,
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more mundane things than not, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. This is like the party.
Yeah. But it's different. It's constantly different, which is why one of the reasons I enjoy working with you guys so much is
Absolutely.
it's always something new, you know. Yeah.
No, there's a lot of I would say the same thing, man. I mean, it's actually like I do love what I do. And I think, I mean, I hope you love what you do too, you know, like that, and that we get to work together and all that kind of stuff. But it's like,
absolutely.
It's just saying that, like, even if you love what you do, it's not all your very favorite thing, you know, like, that's why I think it's actually really smart for people who are like, you know, I want to be a full-time artist. You know, it's like, there's some people that I talk to and they're like, I want to do that. I think I want to do that. But then they kind of have this hesitation, like, but I don't know, because I already love art so much and I don't want to lose that. I don't like, which is kind of weird to say, but they realize that, you know, being a full-time artist is not just painting every day.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, there's a lot of other stuff that you have to do. And they're not sure if they're going to love that part of it. So they have a little bit of wise hesitation with it, I think. And I just think it's good. It's good. It's
Agreed.
like, think about it. Make sure, you know, just, and sometimes you don't know if you're going to love it or not. But I always think, like, if you don't know, but you have something, I mean, somebody said this about, I think it was more like when I worked for Young Life, people would always do the same thing. They'd always think that, oh, look, they get to do this and this and this, and looks so fun, looks so like I was a kid in Young Life. I did that before, and I want to do that now. And the guy who was the director, he would always try to convince people not to do it. That was his first thing, was like, don't do it. Like, just enjoy your role as it is, because you're still able to be involved. You're still able to do this stuff. And then if they felt like, no, they were so dead set on it that it was their calling, it was like what they were made for, then he would help them figure out how to do it. Right. Yeah. But it's like, I feel like it could be kind of the same with art. It's like, hey, if you want to do this as a full-time career, prove it. Prove it by your determination. Because maybe what the best thing that
definitely
I can do is, like, say, don't do it. And then, like, see who has the resilience to take that and go, like, I'm not listening to you. I'm still going to do it, you know, like, and then you go, okay, yeah, I can see you really want this. You'll make it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I also think from the outside, you see somebody doing something, and to you, it can look like it's this amazing thing. And so I'm guilty of this too, where, like, you go, oh, I really want to do that thing because of, I'm like obsessed with this idea of what it's like. But the people who've actually been there, like, it's not like that at all. So
yeah, totally. There was one, I can't remember. I think I read this in this book, but there was this one guy who he had, he had a business, and he would be hiring people, and he would, oh, it was for sales. It was a sales position. That's what it was. And he would, like, people would come in, they'd have an interview. And at the end of the interview, no matter how good they were or anything, at the end of the interview, he would say, you know what? Thank you for coming. I'm really sorry. You're not, we're not going to go with you. You're not, like something.
Yeah.
And what they did next was, like, totally what he would determine whether he was going to hire them or not.
Yeah.
Because, like, he was like, if they were a good salesperson, and if they were like, and they had the grit and the determination, they would totally come back and be like, oh, heck no. You did not hear one thing that I said. If you think that I'm not the perfect fit for this job, that I'm not going to totally come in and crush it, and that and they would, like, argue back, and they would fight with him basically, and, like, convince him, no, this is me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to win for you. And like, I'll be the best dang salesperson that you've ever had. And like those people, he'd go like, okay, you're the one, you know, like,
Yeah.
but the people would just go like, okay, fine, you know, like, or have a bad attitude or, you know, whatever, and just like walk away. He's like, well, obviously you're not the person that I'm looking for. You have to have the grit, the determination. And I think that if you come into a lot of things without that, you're going to be like kind of sadly disappointed, because most people know that. But I think young people, myself included, a lot of times I've thought I've had a bad mentality about what it takes to. I don't know if you remember, Peter, but do you remember joking around with Dan Erickson, like when?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
I just remember like thinking things would be so easy, man.
Yeah, we were fools.
Yeah. Okay, what's another question we can ask our people?
Good question.
Let's see who has decorated their house, and the second part of the question, like for Christmas or, you know, holiday season or whatever. If you've done that, if you put up your tree, all that kind of stuff, or the second part of the question is like, when did you do it, and when is it appropriate to decorate for Christmas or a season like that? Yeah, for Christmas. I'd be curious to see what people say on this one. I'm mixing a little bit of this warmer color here because there's some sunlight hitting this mountain.
Margie May says Thanksgiving. No bags checked. Says decorating right now. Very cool. Yeah, my wife and I started putting up decorations last night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I feel like there are two camps. There's either the after Thanksgiving camp or the after Halloween camp. Which I was like strictly no open mind for the after Halloween. That's ridiculous. You got to have Thanksgiving first. But then I heard somebody say, well, it takes so much work to set up and then you tear it down 4 weeks later. It's kind of lame. So if you put it up after Halloween. Yeah.
I know. Well, I think I went over to somebody's house before Thanksgiving recently, and they had their house totally decorated. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you like went after it already. And they said, well, Halloween or Thanksgiving. Did I say Halloween? I meant to say Thanksgiving. But she said, well, Thanksgiving is so late this year. We felt like, you know.
Oh, yeah, this year especially.
Like what you're saying, it's like, if we don't do it now, I'm going to be taking it down in like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back.
Okay. I think that, well, it doesn't matter what I think about it, to be really honest, because my wife and daughter do whatever they want. And our daughter Willow now is so she loves decorating. It's kind of weird. It's like no one taught her to love decorating or anything like that. I mean, I guess she's done it with Renee for a while, but I didn't really know that it was something that she was passionate about until more recently. But she has she's all in on the decorating, man. Like, and her deal is Black Friday is the day. She has her friend come over and they do it with Renee. They just kind of they've made a tradition out of it. It's really fun. I love it when Willow does. That's our daughter's name, Willow, but I love it when she does. I don't know. She just kind of surprises me with stuff that she's interested in or passionate about.
Martha Zimmerman, I will be decorating this weekend. We'll take it down after Epiphany on January 7th. Cheryl will probably decorate this weekend as we leave it up for Epiphany. What's Epiphany?
That is, well, I think Advent is leading up to Christmas. Like traditionally, like in the church, that's the birth of Christ. Like Advent leading up to the birth of Christ. Epiphany, I think, is the birth of Christ.
Oh.
Is that right? No. Epiphany is like, gosh, somebody will write it in. It's not that. I'm pretty sure that that's not right.
Fill us in.
But I can't remember. Because that would not make any sense if they said I'm leaving it up until Epiphany, till Christmas. Epiphany must be like, I have no idea.
Becky says, fall colors look so much better in my house than Christmas colors. I like the fall colors better too.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense. I think one year we had a Thanksgiving tree. I think that was last year.
A Thanksgiving tree? Oh, you mean you used the colors of Thanksgiving
Yeah,
on the tree?
like fall colors.
Oh, okay,
It was actually cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
Epiphany is the day the wise men showed up, says Anna.
Oh,
Martha
that's what
Zimmerman,
that is.
Epiphany is when the Magi saw baby Jesus on January 6th.
Oh, it's in January. I see.
Ooh, those highlights make the scene pop, Jed.
Yeah, they're fun. I'm liking them. I'm doing a couple different levels of highlight. Like I'm getting some that's in the shadow, the snow in the shadow, so that it's a little bit different, more blue. So all these ridges on this mountain that hold the snow. This is where, to me, it's accuracy. I'm looking at the reference to see what kind of would make sense, but I'm not. It's too hard for me to try to do it exactly like what I see, because I would have to get out. I don't know. I'd have to be looking at every little piece. So I'm just trying to get the idea. Like, where is the snow kind of generally? Are there any patterns that are helpful? And then a little bit more darker blue. Okay, and then I'm gonna get the pure white again. Yeah. Okay. I think this kind of scene is really fun to paint.
What about it?
Well, it's like, what about it? Let's see. Well, I just like painting this way, like where it's on a black canvas. It's just like doing layers, but then like keeping, like it's all just kind of interesting colors. And then like you can create the depth by putting in, you know, this mountain that's further back. I think I could probably even lighten that up by the time maybe, but it might be good as it is. Just with the snow being really standing out as highlight. But there's just something about the way that like the shadow parts of the snow are a little bit more blue, a little bit darker. Then when you put in the snow that's in the sunlight, it just makes it stand out so much. And I feel like all the colors work together.
Yeah, for sure. It's really pretty.
I'm gonna get just a little bit of that warmer color again and try to add a little bit to this mountain. It's kind of like the snow in the sunlight is bright white. This mountain rock in the sunlight has more of the warmth. So wherever the snow is brighter, it would make sense that the rocks also are warmer and carry that sunlit feel. So that's why I'm doing that. Okay, time for the sky. So I'm gonna grab my big brush again, and I think I'm gonna try to just do a phthalo blue, a light phthalo blue sky, maybe with a little bit of yellow in it. As I said that, I accidentally grabbed a little bit of yellow, so maybe that was good timing. Okay.
That mountain turned out really good, Jed.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully I don't mess it up right now.
Nah. That definitely won't happen. Joe says, thanks for this. Have to go. Thanks for hanging out with us, Joe. Have a good one.
Yeah. I saw somebody say that they think I was right in changing the tree line and making that area there. I think it's better for sure. Making this a gradation, hopefully. I mixed a lot of that phthalo in. Sometimes I forget, Peter, how strong that phthalo is still.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't take much to change it.
Nope.
So what's happening on Friday, Peter?
On Friday, we are painting with, she won't be painting live, but she'll be doing a behind the scenes of her course, and we'll get a talk with her about her process and
who?
Amy Erickson. Did I not say that?
No.
My bad. Yeah, we're doing a painting live stream with Amy Erickson at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be awesome. We're going to play one of her demos from her course, her 52-week mini paint challenge. And we'll just talk with her about it, ask her questions about her painting process, about what it was like making the course and all that kind of stuff. And obviously we'll be promoting her course because it is on sale right now. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be fun. Amy, if you don't know her, she's a wonderful artist and she's really fun. We always have a good time hanging out, and so just that will be a lot of good time together. And I think you'll actually learn a lot just from watching the background demo that's going to be just kind of playing, and she'll talk about it as we go, and I'll ask questions and stuff like that. But it'll be a really fun time to hang out and learn a little bit about her, because she's the kind of person that she can I give people a hard time a lot, but she'll give it right back. She's has no problem joking around, and that's why I always like it. Peter, I know you know this, or at least knew it at some point, but I met her at the plein air convention in 2019 when it was in San Francisco, right? And I remember painting outside, and she wasn't painting that night for some reason. She was just walking around, and she came by with I think with another friend of hers, and they stood and talked with me for a while. And I just remember thinking she was really nice and and funny, and we just were joking around back and forth like we didn't know each other at all. But it's funny because that's the standard way that we interact, man, is we'll just I'll call her or something, and it'll immediately be, you should see some of the text messages back and forth is just so funny. Just going back and forth, man. Yeah,
I'm sure.
That's what I love about her, is her sense of humor is so good. At least I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that good, but if I think it's funny, then my sense of humor is probably not that good, but I think I'm funny. And that's all that matters.
There you go.
You got to entertain yourself in life, or else you'll be bored.
Oh, 100%. Nice. This guy's really turning out, Jed.
Good. Okay.
Woo, looks good. Looks good.
I'm changing that line right there because I heard somebody say this, and I think it's true, and I didn't like the way that it went down, but they said when you have something meet the edge of a canvas, it's better to have that line going up rather than going down.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know what it is, but I've done it a couple times after I heard it, and I thought, yeah, it did make that scene a little bit better. So shall we be done?
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up.
Okay. Very good. Fun times.
Fun times indeed. Yeah, guys, we're looking forward to doing more of this. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We
won't say too much more, but we are.
Yeah, we don't know much because we don't really know what we're up to. We're just, but thank you for joining us, man. We had a good time, and I hope that you did too. And we'll try to, at some point as we're moving along, we'll have more to share, and we'll maybe be more helpful. But anyways, you guys,
absolutely.
Let's see. It's Wednesday. I was gonna say have a good weekend because that's what I usually say at the end of Friday Night Live, but it doesn't really make sense.
Nope.
So have a good rest of the week, and we'll see you guys around.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Love you guys.
Bye. Everybody. You're loved and believed in. See ya.